The U.S. State Department is setting aside $40 million in an effort to stop alleged propaganda from Russia and China. According to State Department Deputy Spokesman Robert Paladin, the funding will support a variety of efforts to counter Russian, Iranian, and Chinese disinformation and propaganda. The news comes as federal prosecutors charge 10 Chinese intelligence officers and hackers for a conspiracy to steal commercial aviation and tech data. The indictment comes amid growing tensions with China over trade and alleged theft of intellectual property. For more, we turn to former Congressman Michael Grimm. Thanks for joining us, Congressman.
Great to be here, Scotty.
Okay,
Thanks for having me.
I have to ask the obvious question. If we're going to put this money into foreign interference of supposed fake information, shouldn't Congress be doing something about domestic fake information that's going out there to try to sway people with falsehoods?
I think that's a great and very valid question. My experience, and I'm a former FBI agent. I've been in government for over 20 years. Monies like this often get lost. They're ineffective. They're inefficient. So I really don't think that we're going to be able to stop Russian, Chinese, or any other country's disinformation by going on some type of ad campaign ourselves. So I think this is an area where the American people would probably shake their head and say it could be spent more wisely than what I think will be a very ineffective use of our money.
Well, that's what's interesting about it. There is a lot of other things that need to have some money spent other than this, considering social media is free for the majority of people. And they, so for $40 million, how did they come up with this number? You said you were in intelligence. How did they come up with $40 million as the magic number to fight propaganda?
Okay, so this is how it's done. They will bid out these contracts to small companies that will come in with a beautiful presentation that I guarantee you has pie charts and graphs and looks like it's spectacular and a tremendous amount of work is done. Most of it is pro forma. And again, it's going to be very ineffective, inefficient, and isn't really going to do much of anything other than waste taxpayer money.
Well, is this just like a $40 million? We're going to look like we're actually doing something about interference to appease those in Congress who have been critical of Russia and China? Or do you think people are actually seriously concerned with it within Congress right now, thinking we've got to stop this? Or they're just going, you know what, we're just going to say this to appease the critics?
Oh, I think this is definitely more of a CYA appeasement opportunity, because what we really should be focused on is, the continuing threats of China. It's not just disinformation, but there's a lot of things going on within the intelligence community. It wasn't that many years ago that we had a tremendous breach of one of our CIA systems that we thought was secure, and resulted in not only the death of many of our CIA operatives, but also the imprisonment, and those human assets that were on the ground had to be taken out. So we have to completely rebuild our human assets within China. It's very expensive, very time-consuming, not to mention you can never put a price tag on the loss of life of all those that we lost because of that breach. So I'd rather see more money being spent on securing our systems, because without a doubt, that's one of the biggest hurdles and obstacles and challenges we face, is how do we stay secure in a world of ever-growing hackers with technology that it seems that the hackers have the technology that we can't keep up with.
Well, that's interesting that you bring up spending, because U.S. intelligence spending has gone up 11.6% under President Trump, which is okay if it's effective, if we're seeing results, if it's actually making us more secure, at least in a wide variety of areas. But do you actually feel like it's helping? And why are we seeing this now? Are we any less safe today than we were before 2016 happened?
Well, there's a lot of potential answers to that. I'm not privy to all of them, but again, as an agent, I can tell you, as a former agent, I can tell you that there are a lot of things that happen behind the scenes that we just don't know about. But I can say with a high level of certainty that threats have increased, especially on the cyber side, even in the last few years, because technology that the hackers have access to has gotten better. And I also think that the assessments that have been done over the last 3, 4, 5 years of our government has shown that we have a gap and vulnerabilities that we must address, that have to be, certainly taken care of as quickly as possible. So I'm not as concerned about the increase in the budget. Again, looking at the expansion of China as a growing threat, whether it's in the South China Sea, whether it's the increase in their military, whether it's through their aggressive hacking techniques. Russia, we all know there's issues there. So throughout the world, I just think that there are a lot of threats that have to be addressed, many on the cyber side, which is very expensive, and a lot of our systems are antiquated and haven't been fully brought up to speed in many, many years. So it's not surprising to me at all, and I would think if it is spent wisely, which we probably won't know for many years to come, it's a good investment.
Well, Michael, thanks for once again sharing your insight and expertise in this area with us. We'll see you soon.
Hey YouTube, thanks for checking out our channel. We hope you enjoyed the video. We have tons of content for you just like this. For more of RT America's one-of-a-kind news and analysis, be sure to subscribe and never stop questioning more.